so beautifully encapsulates there's three steps that we can actually do to control our emotional state, which
Yes.
is language, like you've focused on,
Yes.
focus as well, like you've mentioned,
Yep.
and movement. I
Yes.
know you have your very own movement
Yep.
procedure to get you into that emotional state.
Yep.
Before jumping on this podcast, I blasted my song and was dancing around, get me into
Nice.
that emotional state to
Great.
get those high vibes going. Because if we're sitting slouched over, if we're, crawling down and fully embodying this movement, then what emotion are we going to actually manifest?
Yes.
So for
Yes.
you, what's your priming emotional state
Yeah,
procedure?
so in NLP, this would be referred to as anchoring or priming, for example. It's a tool within that, and it can be used in a couple of ways for everybody listening at home. So effectively, there's a process of installation where you're installing emotions into your nervous system on command. And this was developed by a gentleman called Ivan Pavlov, and he did research with dogs, where what he found was when he used to feed dogs, before the dogs would get the food, they'd start to salivate, they'd start to produce saliva in their mouths. So what he did was an exercise he used to ring a bell, feed the dogs, ring a bell, feed the dogs, ring a bell. It just obviously goes on. And then eventually what he would realize was if just by ringing the bells, the dog would start to salivate because the dog had realized, hey, when this bell rings, I get food. Even if there was no food present, they would still start to salivate. Now we can do the same thing in our physical lives as well. And we can use all of our senses to do that. So you can do this visually by having certain anchors and certain imagery around you that reminds you of the life that you want to be living. This is why vision boards are quite powerful, okay? But vision boards often fail because they're focused on what you want rather than reinforming what you already have. So if you were to do almost like an excellence board, right, or a greatness board, or an achievement board of moments in your life that you're enormously proud of, or where you've overcome adversity, if you have moments of that, well, then that's going to reinforce the behaviors and the skills that will create the vision board. You can also do it with songs, you just mentioned before, Crystal, as well, enormously powerful. And my wife and I had obviously a series of songs that we got married to. And so
Mm-hmm.
there are, the lyrics of that are quite meaningful for us. Even just thinking about that or hearing that song will take us back to the wedding and that moment, which is really beautiful. Then you've got as well certain feeling anchors, which can be obviously physical movements. And the most popular or most common example of that would be the haka by the New Zealand All Blacks. And, I won't go into the peak performance of that, but it's one of the reasons why they're the most successful team of all time. And so we can design what's known as a kinesthetic anchor as well. You can also do this as well with trinkets or with certain things. So I'm not wearing my watch at the moment, but my watch normally does that. My wedding ring as well normally does that. I also carry as well stones in my pocket. Citrine and rose quartz and black tourmaline. So those are all little anchors that are sort of trigger points and reminders, if you will, that of the life that I want to have. And so the reality is, carrying around rose quartz doesn't mean love and appreciation and connectedness and abundance, right? It doesn't mean those things. What it means is it's just a rock in my pocket. However, if we embrace the cultural identity, which is that rose quartz symbolizes love, and I believe that, well, then I'm applying meaning to an object. And it could be anything, right? It could be a cup of coffee, could be where.
Mm-hmm.
And now, when when I touch that stone, now I'm remembering or recalling the emotion of love, and therefore I'm triggering and reminding myself to be in that state. So the thing is, with across the board, everything in your life is a double-edged sword. Nothing in your life has meaning, but everything in your life can have meaning. The challenge is you've got to choose the meaning. And so you can take your entire world around you and you can program it in such a way where it triggers and reminds you of the life that you want to have and the person you want to be. And so for me personally, before I get on stage, there's a physical process that I go through. There's also a variety of songs. It's almost like a ritual incantation. I do a prayer exercise as well, connective spirit. Allows me to be present and to show up. On a morning when I'm starting my day, got a different process using cold therapy. On an evening when I'm ending my day, there's a different process again. And so we sort of put in place these rituals because I know that, there's always going to be something in my day that goes. We've got a global company. We've got more than a dozen staff. We've got more than 200,000 clients. So at some point, even if you look at 1% of things going wrong, something's going to be going wrong. I was explaining to you already this morning, it was a bit of a hectic day running around. We had appointments with our obstetrician. We've got a child on the way. And just all this stuff was happening to us. I call it a stressful day. Now, it would have been an uncontrollably stressful day if I didn't have the right rituals in place to anchor me, get me back into the zone again, to be able to show up. And so, that day could have easily just blown out and I could have not been in the right place for this call with you, or I can find the processes and the strategies and install them in such a way where I can show up and do the right thing. So it's just a matter of preparing yourself for the opportunities. One of my favorite quotes is, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. And the same token goes as well. It's better to be prepared for a crisis and not have one than to have a crisis and not be prepared. It's all about equipping yourself with those skills and tools.